What if I told you the greatest heist in American history didn't happen in a heavily guarded bank vault, but 10,000 feet in the freezing night sky? No alarms were tripped, no masks were worn, just a calm man in a business suit, a lit cigarette, and a briefcase holding the threat of absolute destruction. November 24th, 1971. A storm was brewing over the Pacific Northwest. At the Portland airport, a middle-aged man carrying a dark briefcase walked up to the counter. He bought a $20 one-way ticket to Seattle. His name, according to the boarding pass, was Dan Cooper. He boarded Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305. He sat in seat 18C at the very back of the Boeing 727. Cooper didn't look like a hijacker. He was dressed like a corporate executive, a dark suit, a white shirt, a black clip-on tie, and tortoise-shell sunglasses, even though it was getting dark. As the plane taxied to the runway, he casually ordered a bourbon and water. Shortly after takeoff, a 23-year-old flight attendant named Florence Schaffner was sitting jump seat just across from him. Cooper leaned over and quietly slipped a piece of folded paper into her hand. Thinking he was just another lonely businessman trying to slip her his phone number, she dropped the note unopened into her purse. But Cooper leaned closer, his voice deadpan, and said, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." Florence opened the note. In neat, capital letters written with a felt pen, the message was clear. Cooper instructed her to sit next to him. Terrified, but remaining calm, she asked to see the bomb. Cooper slowly unlatched his black briefcase. Inside, nestled among tangled wires, were 8 red cylinders with a large battery in the middle. The hijacking was officially underway. His demands were bizarre but extremely precise. $200,000 in untraceable $20 bills and 4 parachutes, 2 main, 2 reserves. He also wanted a fuel truck ready on the tarmac the moment they landed in Seattle. While the plane circled the stormy skies over Washington state for over 2 hours to burn off fuel, the passengers up front had no idea what was happening. They were told it was simply minor mechanical difficulty. Meanwhile, on the ground, the FBI was desperately gathering thousands of $20 bills from local banks. At 5:39 p.m., the plane landed in Seattle. The $200,000, weighing around 21 pounds in cash, was handed over alongside the parachutes. True to his word, the calm, polite hijacker allowed all 36 passengers to walk off the plane alive, totally completely oblivious to the danger they were just in. Only 4 people remained trapped on board: Cooper, 2 pilots, and a flight attendant. Once refueled, Cooper commanded the pilot to take off again, flying toward Mexico City. But he gave an incredibly weird set of flight instructions. Fly at an altitude of 10,000 feet, keep the landing gear down, and keep the speed agonizingly slow. Now alone in the dark cabin with just a flight attendant, he told her to join the pilots in the locked cockpit and leave him alone in the back. As the jet sliced through extreme rainstorms, plunging into total darkness, the pilot felt a sudden shift. A warning light flashed red on the control panel. The heavy rear air stair doors, an absolute anomaly of the Boeing 727 model, had been opened mid-flight. Cold wind and freezing rain began roaring through the cabin. At 8:13 p.m., the pilots noticed an abrupt upward movement of the aircraft. A heavy mass had just left the tail. When the plane finally touched down in Nevada over 2 hours later, with its back stairs violently dragging against the runway, sparking massive flames, law enforcement immediately stormed the cabin, but there was nothing left. No suitcase, no money, and no Dan Cooper. All that was left was an ashtray holding 2 smoked cigarettes and his black clip-on tie lying gracefully across the seat. D.B. Cooper had parachuted out into a heavy thunderstorm wearing nothing but a business suit and loafers, descending straight into the treacherous, jagged, freezing pine forests of the Cascade Mountains. What followed was one of the largest, most intense manhunts in United States history. For months, hundreds of military personnel and police scoured thousands of acres of rugged wilderness. They searched mountainsides, dragged lakes, and combed thick, dark forests. Logic said there is simply no way a man carrying 21 pounds of money survived a plummet into freezing wilderness without proper cold-weather survival gear. Surely Cooper plummeted to his death or broke his legs and died of hypothermia hours later. But here's the unsettling part. The authorities didn't find a body. They didn't find the briefcase. They didn't even find his parachute. The earth simply swallowed him up. Years turned into a decade. Theories spun out of control. Was he a highly trained Black Ops soldier, a skydiver with a death wish? Then, on a crisp Sunday in February 1980, something incredible happened. An 8-year-old boy named Brian Ingram was having a campfire with his family along the sandy banks of the Columbia River at a place called Tina Bar. As he was digging the fire pit, he struck something buried beneath the wet sand. Bundles of decaying cash. $5,800 in 20s. The FBI quickly rushed in to match the serial numbers. And boom, they were the very same bills handed to D.B. Cooper that rainy November night 9 years ago. To this day, the cash at Tina Bar is the only physical evidence of D.B. Cooper ever recovered outside the plane. Did the money wash ashore over time, breaking off from the main bag when he landed in the roaring river? Did he bury a handful there on foot to save weight as he successfully made his daring escape? Today, the FBI file on D.B. Cooper contains thousands of pages and hundreds of suspects. From deathbed confessions to obsessive armchair sleuths matching photos, nobody has ever fully solved the case. Whoever the man in the sunglasses truly was, whether his bones are lost under centuries of forest moss, or whether he sat on a warm beach with a cocktail in hand, he pulled off the most romanticized, flawlessly executed disappearing act in human history. He was D.B. Cooper, the ghost who fell to earth, leaving $200,000 scattered to the wind and achieving eternal unsolved legend.